Hello and welcome back to the video darkroom. If you've watched this channel before, you'll know that I've recently acquired this Sony RX1r Mark II camera. And in a recent video, I recommended it as a great everyday camera for the professional. The reason being, you may not always want to carry your professional kit, or even if you're a serious amateur, you may not want to carry the cameras that you use for pursuit of your main hobby. But this is a camera where you won't compromise too much on using it. It has a full frame sensor, it has an excellent Zeiss sonar lens, it's a high quality build, and it produces great results. And so using it as your everyday camera, you won't notice too many drawbacks from perhaps your professional kit. But there are some things. I'm a professional photographer and videographer, and I've only had this camera for a few weeks, but there are a few differences that I notice when I compare it to, for example, my Sony A1. I'm going to mention a couple of those in this video, but I'm planning an upcoming trip in the next few days to New York, where I hope to use this camera intensively for quite a while for travel photography in New York. And after I've done that, I'll be giving you a full review of my experience of using this camera and how it feels to not use my Sony A1 with a variety of lenses that are available to me and restrict myself to just this simple, compact, full frame camera for everyday use. So my initial thoughts are that first of all, it does have a great sensor. It's really good in low light. It gives excellent resolution. It's a 42 megapixel sensor and it has a superb lens as well. So the lens is a Carl Zeiss Sonar f2 lens, and it's a 35mm lens. It was made specifically for this camera, so it performs really well with this camera and with this sensor. I've used this a couple of times recently. One was shooting the Christmas lights in London, and here are a few photographs just showing while I explain what I found there. And one of the things that I missed compared to my professional camera is that it has no highlight priority metering, and that is something that can be quite useful when you're photographing at night with lights and you don't want to blow them out. You can set the meter to not blow out the highlights. It doesn't have that, but in practice I actually found it okay. I just underexposed by one or two stops and didn't blow out the highlights, so not something really to worry about too much. And then there's the fact that the viewfinder and the LCD screen do blank out when you're shooting multiple exposures. That is, if you're allowing the camera to focus between each exposure, if you're tracking, for example, something moving towards you or away from you. There is a speed priority mode where it doesn't blank out, but then it's not refocusing every time. And I was using this to shoot a steam train coming through my local station and found that with the blanking out, it was just impossible to follow the movement of the train. It did work out on my first image, which you can see on the screen, but it could be a problem. But then I think to myself, well, that's not such a big deal because that's not what this camera is aimed at. It's not a sports or wildlife camera. It's something that it's useful to have that high speed mode, which you can get up to about 5 frames per second with the tracking enabled, but as I say, without the blanking out of the viewfinder. But it's not something that is really critical to a camera of this size. So anyway, I'm off to New York in a couple of days to spend Christmas there and to do some street photography in New York, and I hope to be able to gain a lot of experience of using this camera in practice and come back and do a much more thorough review of my experience. So if you want to catch that, subscribe to the channel and I'll catch you in the next one.